Going live. Welcome to Screenwriters Beat.
Yay!
The team is here.
Yay!
Thanks for joining us again. I'm really excited to have my very talented panel of screenwriters. Let me introduce them. The very handsome Eric Ingram.
Why, thank you, Ann. I try to say that on the down a little bit, okay? This is about writing, and this is going out into the universe, okay? So
He's got the voice down, too.
I know.
Yeah.
No, stop being silly. Yes, Eric Ingram, pleasure to see you guys again. I write action and comedy.
Groovy. And we also have Jeff Burns, equally handsome. Welcome, Jeff.
Oh, thank you. I can't do the voice like Eric can. Sexy voice. Thanks. I'm Jeff Burns. I'm a web series creator. I like to do sci-fi, superhero, fun stuff like that.
Very fun stuff. Also happy to see Margaret Riseley here again, all the way from Australia.
Yeah, hi everybody. I write thrillers, horrors, adventure rom-coms, and adventure in general. Everything with a thriller aspect to it.
We like those. And please welcome Nicole Jones-Dion.
Hello, I write stuff on the dark side, so horror, thrillers, the darker the better.
So I thought maybe you meant like the Sith, like Darth Vader and stuff like that.
Oh, that's me. All
yeah.
You would do it.
Yeah.
You're at episode 9 of Star Wars, right?
Exactly.
We're like, oh, well, my great panel. Hello, I'm Ann Kimbrough. I write actions and thrillers, the contained kind right now. And we're so happy to have everyone back. We are missing a couple, and we're sending a shout out, happy birthday to Nicole Kiefler. She's celebrating. But today's episode, this is episode 17. Can you believe it?
Wow.
Wow.
And it's about how industry pros talk to writers. Because that's sort of something we all deal with, and they are short on time, right? So we want to sort of discuss what you should expect back, so you don't get upset and you understand how to deal with it. It's not personal, right? It's business. Let's start off with Nicole. How do industry folks talk to you?
Well, I mean, the first thing you have to realize is that these people are glued to their cell phones. I mean, they live on their phones. They're constantly checking their emails and text messages and making phone calls. And when they're not in a meeting, they're just checking emails and stuff real quick before the next meeting starts. And so sometimes, like, if you're sending a query letter or something to one of these professionals, and they're just reading it really, really quickly on this little tiny screen 9 times out of 10. And if they like it, they might send off like a little 1 or 2 word response and say, yes, send it. Or if they don't like it, they might not respond at all. Just be aware that they're squeezing, they're juggling a million things at once. So don't expect a nice Shakespearean novella in response to your emails, because it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, isn't that right, Margie, with you too? If you hear back, be happy you hear anything.
Absolutely, yeah. Just don't take it personally. Like some people just don't like the thought that they get nothing more than a no thanks, but that's actually good to get a response in the first place. I mean, that's somebody being polite, taking time out of their day to respond to somebody that they have at this stage no interest in working with. So yeah, it's not personal. It's just not right for them.
Great. Heidi's joining us when she comes in. Heidi, we've started without you. I'm glad you're here.
I am so sorry. I think my computer's trying to kill me.
It's Skynet.
Yes.
Wow.
I love you all. I missed you. I'm so sorry. It's so great to be here.
No problem. Put up your lower third if you remember how to do that, so everyone will know. Hi, this is Heidi Mastrog.
I love you all.
And you write comedy still, I'm assuming?
I do, although I'm going to do sci-fi now with this damn computer. Damn this computer. Yeah.
Hey, you can join Jeff. Now, so we're talking about how industry professionals talk to writers. Ooh, you did it. Jeff, follow up on what we were talking about. Industry professionals, can you build on even a small hello back from them?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, one thing I wanted to share, because I actually just recently got a really cool experience. I got to pitch Sci-Fi Network, actually.
Yay.
Ah,
So thanks.
Very good.
So one thing I'm gonna, I guess, give advice to people is if you hear things like, so we like that it's a buddy comedy, or we like that it's a space opera, but you need to change the whole story. Don't freak out, okay? Because your reaction is probably gonna be like, "What the hell are they talking about? God damn it!" That's okay. So I think here's what you should do. Try to be open to giving them what they're looking for, still something that you're passionate about yourself, okay? And that's how I tried to, so for example, I came in with a time travel story that I was working on. And they like time travel at Sci-Fi, but they didn't like the time travel story I particularly came in with. But I was very open to their notes, right? So I redid the whole thing, and I came back with a new time travel story. But I also, while I was doing that, was thinking of other original ideas that I think might be a good fit for Sci-Fi Network. So I wound up coming up with a completely different Android-based idea, which I think is the best idea I've come up with in a long time. So I wound up pitching that one to them, and they didn't go forward with it, which is very expected. They got a lot of stuff they're considering. But the thing is, I have an idea now that I'm really excited about that I never would have came up with if I wasn't open to coming up with new ideas based on what they told me, right? So, and also, it's a great relationship that I just built, because they actually said to me at the end, you're the kind of person we want to work with. We want to hear about what you're doing in the future, even though we don't want to right now the things you gave us, So, and that's awesome, I think. And so it was a very positive experience for me. I think basically being open to things and not, don't close the doors and be closed off to hearing feedback like that.
That's good to hear. I appreciate you sharing that. I don't know what happened to Eric. Eric, you still there?
yeah, I came back.
There's two Erics. How about you? I mean, I love his story about pitching and adapting in a pitch, and you're building a relationship, right? Even if it's just through email.
Right. Everything that everyone said is right on target. I think sometimes we need, as a writer, because we sit in our rooms and we create this thing, this great script. Characters, usually it's a part of our life, but something, there's a whole lot of things. So when you take it to someone else, you hope that they see it exactly how you see it. And so when they start offering, hey, well, we like this part of it, but could you change that part of it? I think a lot of times what happens because we work so hard on it, right, that they're taking a shot at us saying we didn't do this right. When actually what they're saying is the part that we connect with, we want. This other stuff can go, right? I mean, that's what's happening. So really, I know Hal always says we had this part when we write, what is the essence of what you're saying? So if you know the essence of your story, that part you can keep, and a lot of times that's the part that people fight for. But whether or not it takes place in Austria or Hong Kong, or can we do it in LA, sure, of course, who cares? But as long as we keep that essence of that story that we're trying to say, the writer's version of it, that's what I don't want to say fight for, because I know when people say that, they just think, no, well, this girl, it has to be a 6-year-old girl. Like, that's not what you fight for. It's just stuff like, it's just very important to be able to know that they could have just got an email that said, we want a buddy comedy between an 18 and a 20-year-old guy, okay? And then here you come pitching, and you got 29 and 30-year-old ladies, right? And it's like, well, we like the buddy, but can you make it 18 and 19-year-old? Why? Because we already have a line that we could possibly get this made.
Right.
Yeah, you never know where the notes are coming from. Yeah, because like you were talking about locations too, because there's a lot of places that offer really great tax incentives, and they could be like, all right, well, we want to shoot here because we're going to get these really great tax bonuses, but you've got it set in Nebraska. Do you mind shifting it somewhere? So that it's true. Be very be flexible, because you don't really always know what the rationale is for the notes.
Right.
And sometimes they have a really good business reason for it.
Exactly, and the people are smart. This is another thing, that everyone takes that William Goldman quote, no one knows anything. Please, the people who are working are very smart. This is what they do day in and day out, and they already know, they kind of know who they gotta pitch it to their boss, and we know the boss likes it if they say this point and not this point. Like, they already know this stuff. So I'm just agreeing with everything that everyone said. Get in line, get the movie, get the thing made, keep it going. It's really not about the thing you created in your room by yourself. It's not unless you have the money. If you got $12 million, then exactly, then you fight for the 12. You fight for the 12 puppies. You know what I mean? I want 12 puppies. You fight for that. If that's your money, if it's your money, you could do that. But it's not your money. It's not your money.
Well, I think the thing is, if they're still talking to you, keep communicating with them,
Exactly.
right? Also, like, take it back. So being in the room is one thing. What if you're just emailing somebody or just cold calling and you get an email back? Like Heidi, any response back, even if it seems curt, it's still a good response, right?
Absolutely, because you're starting a dialogue, and you're looking to it. It's about relationships. I also think it's about always communicating that you are positive, and that you're gracious, and that you're going to do what it takes to be an easy person to work with. So you continue the dialogue, keep the relationship going.
Right. Always keep your stuff positive, right? That
Absolutely.
You send back to them. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And you know, the good advice of when you've established a relationship, let them know when something happens. Oh, just checking in. I'm having this wonderful thing, and I wanted to let you know about it. Just keep that dialogue going.
Cool. Mark, you're nodding. Do you do that a lot?
Yes, yeah. Anybody that you establish a relationship with, it's worth just making them more than a business contact. You know, don't get all clingy and too friendly, but just every so often touch base and let them know what's going on. And if you see any interesting information about what they've been up to, congratulate them.
Yes.
That sort of thing. Yeah. And you know, like if you have, say, contest placement or you get an option or whatever, just let them know. It's definitely worthwhile keeping the relationship going.
And I think if I may add real quick, a lot of times, because you know, if you text your friend, right? You text your friend something, and in your head you can see how they're saying it. Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know that thing. Well, guess what? You could absolutely be wrong.
Yeah.
Right? So you're taking this as, oh my, he's so curt or she's so curt with me, and it was disrespectful. All they said was yes, maybe later, but and nothing else, right? Well, who do they think they are? I'm not worth a full sentence and that, right?
Never.
You know what I mean? It's like don't assume.
That.
I know everyone knows the phrase. Don't assume. Don't think that, and also don't think you're entitled. Meaning you're supposed to get a whole paragraph and why we didn't like it, and maybe you're one of the greatest writers ever to send a script into. Like, give me a break. These people are busy. Busy. Yeah. There are millions and millions and millions of dollars on the line with every decision they make. This is very serious business.
And whether you get a yes, no, or maybe response, always acknowledge and thank them for their time. Because you know, they are so incredibly busy, and the fact that they bothered to respond at all is a good thing.
Right.
Yeah, I was just going to add that. That makes a big difference. I always send a thank you. In fact, the sci-fi guy even responded to me that he really appreciated that I took the time to write a personal note of thanks to him.
Yeah.
Nice.
Did you do an email note or did you actually mail him something?
Oh, that's a great idea, and that's something Hal taught us. I should have remembered that. It was an email note, but I should have done that too. You're right.
Well, you still have time, right?
Still do it. It just happened.
It just happened. Mail him tomorrow.
And on the flip side of all this is like a cautionary tale, I guess I've seen. When you do get really lengthy responses, or you do get someone on the phone and they want to gab for hours and hours, chances are they're not busy. And they're not busy because they're not making stuff. And so if they have the time to spend all the time with you, don't feel like, ooh, I'm special. It's kind of like, it's kind of a double-edged sword, because if they were busy, it's because they're making things, and if they're yapping, they're not making movies. So I always worry about the ones that take the 2-hour lunches. And
that could be a sign.
I don't know if you could tell this. I don't know if it'd be because of time, Nicole. If you could tell that story. The only reason I know it is because of Hal uses it as the example of when you were. I don't know if it was one of your first assignments or whatever, and both the director or the producer were arguing, and you were the calm one in the middle.
Oh.
Was that's you, right?
That was me.
No, I just say that because this is the kind of stuff that, you know, you're in the game, you're on the battlefield, you're in there doing it, and I think a lot of times we don't get these kind of, you know, whatever tips that you can give to the writers out there. this is the stuff that happens. It's about getting the thing made. You know, it's not personal. You know, we hate this scene. Like, you don't take it like, oh, they hate me as a writer. It's like, no, the scene's just not working.
It has almost nothing to do with you as a writer, really.
Exactly, right.
Yeah, and you know, unless you know the subtext of the other people in the room, you know, it's funny because I've been in several meetings now where there were like 2 people in there who hated each other, and the sniping starts, and at first you're like, oh, haha, look, this is funny, and then you're like, oh wait, no, they're serious, and they really do hate each other, and they really want to kill each other, and that's not a good starting point for this project.
Well, you have to avoid that, but at least you took the high road, right?
You just try not to pick sides, you know. It's like navigating those treacherous waters.
Sweden, yeah, we're Switzerland.
Oh, Switzerland.
You're always Switzerland, exactly.
That's good. Well, does anyone have something else they want to add on this topic?
Yeah, if I may. You were talking about notes before. I missed some because my internet dropped out again. But I'd like to share a recent experience. I got some notes through from a producer via a director about the writing assignment I was doing, and the producer wanted to gave this particular note, and the director and I disagreed with it, but I tried 3 different ways to make it work, and we finally came to the decision that it didn't work. But I think that's important, that you don't, you know, like you don't just say, no, you're wrong. You've got to give it the opportunity, and I didn't know for sure that it was wrong until I tried those 3 different ways and presented those 3 different ways, and then we finally all agreed that it wasn't right. It wasn't right. And I just listened to I can't remember who. I've listened to a few podcasts over the last few days, and somebody, might have been a TV writer, Marty, somebody was saying that when you get a note that you don't agree with, you can it may just be a throwaway line, and you can always say how important is this note to you. It may have just been an off-the-cuff remark, and we're taking it as very serious, and need to know that, you know, does that person are they wedded to that idea, or can it be something that you can just think about and then move on from? So to
kind of build on what Margie was just saying, it's like, in a perfect world, and this is really challenging, so if you can pull this off, that's awesome. When they come at you with a note and you hate it, what you want to do is somehow get them to admit that it's a bad note. And so it requires a little bit of psychology, a little reverse psychology. and I've been dealing with this a lot lately, where you're coming in and people just giving you like awful notes. And so you're trying to get to the heart of it, like you're saying. Is it just a throwaway thing? You know, where are you coming from with this? What is it you're really trying to accomplish? Is that the best way to achieve that? And hopefully by the end of that, it's kind of a long, circuitous process, but by the end, hopefully they'll come around to your way of thinking. And yeah. But then you can't say, I told you so, because that's bad for you. Brilliant idea. I'm glad
you can say it to us.
Exactly.
But the whole point is that you're talking with them. You're having a communication. It's about making a better product, right? Getting the better story.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, don't dig in. Don't be stubborn. Don't be like a tick, you know, where you're like, no, this is the only way I'm going to write it. Because sometimes there is some good stuff hidden within the bad note. You just have to find the essence of what the note is.
Yeah, I think that's cool. All right, moving on. I love that topic. You guys covered it very well. But we're going to have a little show and tell, and this is a quick show and tell. Everyone's going to state your favorite movie dialogue line. It doesn't have to be your favorite, but, you know, something in your top 10. Margie, we won't go to you first then.
Oh, yeah, you can. I love this one.
Raise your hand if you're ready. Oh, you look like I got to Google real quick.
No.
I'll start with mine. I'll start with mine to give you a moment. Mine is from Jaws, and it's you're gonna need a bigger boat.
My line! Dang it! Because I knew you were gonna have my line.
Really? All right. Well, Google. I'll go to you last, Eric.
Mine is there is no life without Shaka, which is from Shaka Zulu.
Wow.
Yeah, way of the older version. The new one was kind of crazy. But anyway, yeah, there is no life without shock. That was
I got to see. I don't know that one. Cool. Heidi.
It's from my favorite movie of all time. It's when in Casablanca, when Victor Laszlo marches up to the band at Rick's Cafe, and he says, "Play La Marseillaise, play it," and they do, and it's just so stirring and heroic. I get teary every time I see it.
Just gave me chills thinking of it.
Oh, cool. Very good. Jeff, what do you have?
So mine is actually wound up being an improv off of what the scripted line was. So it's from The Empire Strikes Back. And when Han Solo is about to be frozen in carbonite, Princess Leia tells him, "I love you," and he responds, "I know," which I think is brilliant.
Women everywhere hated that line, but yeah,
That's
guys.
right.
No, but look, but the subtext of that line, I think, is what's cool about it.
It was cool. He did know. Margie?
Yes, I'll let you guess where this one's from. I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
Nice.
Silence of the
Hannibal
Lamb.
Yeah.
Silence of the Lamb. That's good. Nicole, what happened to you? You're gone.
Fine.
You fell off
I'm
her
going to
chair.
go with, "Take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape."
Excellent. Excellent choice.
What's that from again?
That's from the original Planet of the Apes.
Planet of the Apes.
Oh, you stick. That's funny. A lot of these were, well, they were either touching or funny lines. I love that. All right. Next time you got to go first, Nicole. Sorry.
No, well, I was just playing. I was prepared this time. The one time you do one of these, and I'm prepared. You're still
Sorry. I'm very sorry. I feel so bad. Moving on. We have a question from the audience. This one is, when optioning books or other material to base a script on, what are some do's and don'ts? Anyone want to take this first? Is anyone option material?
Yeah.
Nobody has?
Am I the only one?
Yeah, well, you go, girl.
Do's and don'ts. I guess, you know, for me, I guess the main thing is when you're trying to adapt someone else's material, you really need to set the expectation ahead of time with the author, the creator of that material, so that they understand that it will always exist in its original form, and the film is a completely separate entity, and so you're going to have to make changes to it, and they just, you know, sometimes they're cool with it, you know, because you always hear about, like, oh, the book was better than the movie. I mean, it's a completely different medium. There's going to have to be revisions made and modifications made to fit the movie format. And I always try to be really upfront with the content creator to make sure that they're on board with that, because you want their support, but you also want them to understand that it's not taking away from the original work. It's a completely different beast. So I would say that's, you know, one thing I try to be really sensitive about, especially when you're adapting, like, nonfiction and it's their life story, and you're like, okay, I know this really happened to you, and this is, like, your family, but I'm gonna have to kill some people off. So can we make a deal that I just promise I won't kill off any of your family members? I'll just kill off some fake people. Are you okay with that? And, you know, then as long as you have an understanding.
Well, the only thing I've ever done is I found a short story online that I really thought would make a great horror film. So I contacted the writer, and he was all gung-ho. And my answer would be was to get your contract ready to get the rights before you approach someone. Because in the time that I contacted him and he was all excited, somebody else that he was working with, he must start talking to, and they signed. And they signed a contract to represent all its work, so of course they didn't want to work with me. But
that's too bad. But the other thing I found, I mean, because I've had similar type things happen where I'll read a book, I really love it, I reach out to the author's great, and then they're like, talk to my agent, and the agent's like, we want $1 million, and I'm like, all right,
no,
I'm not Spielberg, you know, sorry. It's a cool little book, but it's been out of print for 20 years, and
yeah, sorry, I got my own original ideas. Anybody else? Anybody other thoughts? No. Well, guys, we've come to the end of another episode. Da, da, da. Wow. all this good chat and advice. I love that you donate your time by coming here and talking to us. Let's go around and I want you guys to either offer your own cool tagline that you've come up with or words of encouragement for our writers out there. Eric?
You always come to me first with this.
I go down the line.
I'm going to do it, but I'm just saying, man, there's another side. There's a left side and there's a right side to the story.
Very nice. Well, I'm on the other side.
No. I always say this. Usually, obviously, we can walk around the world and get ideas from all pages, newspapers, internet, like this. But always kind of know what's going on inside of you, because that's where your fuel to keep writing is going to come from anyway. So keep in touch with yourself, along with getting ideas outside of you, but just stay in touch with yourself.
I like that. Cool. Heidi Mastrog.
I was reminded I'm actually reading a book that I might have to option. It's a memoir by a very wonderful friend of mine, Christina Negron, and she has a quotation from Tennyson's Ulysses I wanted to share. It says, "To strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield."
Oh, wow. That's very motivational, too. Jeff Burns, you have to follow that up. Sorry.
That's okay. So going back to the industry talk, I guess advice would be, be open to feedback. Think of a long relationship.
He's freezing.
Relationship. And I guess my tagline will be, since I do a show called Super Geeked Up, which is a geeky pop culture show, I'll just tell you, everybody stay super geeky, and hit me up on the tweets. Hit me up on the tweets at Super Geeked Up.
Oh, we like that. Margaret Riseley.
Okay, this is a quote from Paul Coffey, who is apparently a Canadian ice hockey player. Nobody's a natural. You work hard to get good, and then you work to get better. And I think that applies to so many fields, but especially writing.
Beautiful.
That is. Wow, I like that. I think we all represent that. Nicole?
Well, this isn't exactly a quote, but it's like a little nugget of good advice that I got this week, because if you're like me, you've got like a bazillion ideas in your head at any given time, and you never know which one you should be focused on, and you'll start on one, and you're like, ooh, new shiny, and then you just go over here, and you're like, ooh, no, this one's better, and you'll go over there. And so a friend of mine sent me this article from Warren Buffett, and it was like the secret to success. And it's you make a list of like your top 20 ideas, and then you go through that list, and then you pick the top 5. And you finish those first. You don't even look at the other 15. Don't even look at them. They don't exist. They're dead to you. Because I knocked something over. And then as you finish each of those top 5, then you can start migrating ones from the other. But you have to have tunnel vision and just blinker focus, or else you're never going to get anything done. You're going to have a 30 or 40 half-finished scripts, and you just have to be disciplined and focused and committed to finishing one at a time.
Great advice. Great advice. Yep. I love that. And actually, mine is from actor Stephen Amell from the TV show Arrow. I'm wearing a shirt from a campaign he did.
Oh,
wow. Not cancer.
Yes.
Nice. Okay, guys, thank you so much. What a great show, and we'll be back in a couple seconds here for everybody, but in YouTube world, check out episode 18 coming up. Thank you. Love you guys.
Bye.